Shalom, everybody. Welcome back. We are continuing with where we left off in Likutey Halakhot, Reb Noson's discourse in section Orach Chaim, Halakhot Nefilat Apayim, the laws of falling on one's face after the Amida prayer, discourse number 4, paragraph 13, where we left off. Reb Noson expresses the beauty of Am Yisrael, that when Hashem shines upon them an arousal, a light, the way Jewish people, the way of Jewish attitude towards that is to run and to do, and not to take it in and just ponder and develop the intellect with this big spiritual high and use it to enhance the intellectual capacity of understanding it. Rather, they take the light, they use the energy to get up and to go towards it in doing. Hashem, I put my sechel on the side, my intellect on the side, I'm just doing what you're shining me to do. I'm going to do. Not sort of asking, I want to ponder the idea and develop it, since anyways this light is coming towards me. I might as well take advantage of it. No, the Jewish people, the Jewish attitude is when a big light comes, they use it now to invest in coming back to Hashem. And how Reb Noson expressed it so amazingly in that verse from Shir HaShirim, Moshcheni acharecha nerutza. Hashem, just pull me towards you and I'll start running. You might think, if anyone's Hashem is pulling you towards him, so just enjoy the free ride. Why push forward? That's the beauty of Am Yisrael. I don't want to wait. I want to come forward with simple emunah, and not just to wait and absorb and let me to intellectually grasp what's happening and enjoy the light, the free trip. I'm using this opportunity to come closer. Amazing. So Reb Noson now will go to the next stage, showing how this is related to Kabbalat Torah, which is coming up, Shavuot. The statement of the Jews, Na'aseh v'nishma. We're going to deal today with Reb Noson's question on this verse and the Gemara on the verse, okay? So let's see how Reb Noson now develops the next stage. V'zeu bechinat, everything we discussed until now by the idea of Hashem drawing a light, like we said, and the person using it to do actions, to invest it in emunah, as opposed to just pondering and dwelling and intellectually developing the idea. Rather, the person used the light to do, as opposed to understanding. Reb Noson says now this is so connected and related to the famous expression of the Jews before receiving the Torah, Na'aseh v'nishma. We will do, and then we will listen. Watch. V'zeu bechinat kol asher diber Hashem na'aseh v'nishma. If you remember this verse, Parashat Mishpatim, okay, chapter 24, verse 7, that when Hashem sent Moshe to ask the Jews, are you ready to receive the Torah? What did they say? Kol asher diber Hashem na'aseh v'nishma. The whole verse actually reads like this. Let's just take a look at the verse so you can see the perspective. Okay, this is verse, like we said, verse 7. Vaikach Sefer Habrit, Moshe took the book of the covenant. The book of the covenant, Rashi says, is from the beginning of Chumash Bereshit, Genesis, until the parsha receiving the Torah, which is Parshat Yitro. If you want to say, it goes on to Mishpatim, okay? But it's basically Parshat Yitro, where the 10 Commandments are actually expressed in the Torah. So Moshe took and wrote down already, as he heard from God, from the beginning of Bereshit until Parshat Yitro. And also Rashi says the laws they were commanded in the Mara, the laws of Shabbat, of judgments, of capital punishment, of respecting one's parents. Those are a few halakhot given over in Mara. So Moshe took the book of the covenant and he read it before in the ears of the nation, that they should hear it. Remember when they said, Kol asher diber Hashem, whatever Hashem has spoken, and in other words, what he's asking of us to do, that has spoken, Na'aseh v'nishma, we will do and we will listen, okay? So we will do and we will listen. The famous question asked by everybody, how could you do before you listen? Na'aseh v'nishma, we will first do and then we will listen. So look how Reb Noson asks the question, answers it, but then asks another question. So again, v'zeu bechinat kol asher diber Hashem na'aseh v'nishma, whatever Hashem, the Jews proclaimed, whatever Hashem, Diber Hashem has said for us, asking us to commit. That's when Moshe Rabbeinu read the Torah. Are you ready to commit to following this Torah? Na'aseh v'nishma, we will do and we will listen. And like the Gemara says, the praising the Jewish people. This is the Gemara on Shabbat, page 88a, a very famous page. That Shekdimu Naaseh Nishma. The Jews first said Naaseh, and then we will do, and then they said we will listen Nishma. And Reb Noson asks the famous question that everybody asks: V'lichora i'efshar lahavin hadavar klal. So seemingly, it seems that you can't understand at all. What is this? You do and then you listen. Ech efshar la'asot kodem sheyishmeu. How could you do before hearing, listening, being told, and listening to the command what to do? You do and then afterwards you listen. Doesn't make sense at all. Haemet, and he says, in truth, Shatora shibcha otam arzeh, shemigodel teshukatam laHashem yitbarach hikdimu naaseh linishma. The truth is, the Torah is actually praising the Jewish people. This is a virtue. They said first naaseh and then nishma, that because of their intense desire, yearning, pining, cleaving, whatever word you want to use for Hashem to come close to God, that's why they said, Hashem, we're all yours. We'll do and then we'll listen. As if the Danasa, like the commentaries explain, many commentaries on the Gemara explain, you have the Khatam Sofar, Tosfot, Marsha, that out of their willingness, Hashem, I'm all yours. So they're saying a commitment. I'll do. And afterwards we'll listen. I'm here. I'm doing whatever you tell me to do. Okay? Like the rabbi said in the Gemara there, page 88a, right? That's what they're praised. That they're yearning to do the commitment. Not like Rashi brings down, like the nations, they asked Hashem, when the famous Gemara is there, that Hashem asked the nations, he asked each nation, do you want to receive the Torah? So what did each nation say? Sorry? What's in it? They want to hear first. First let me hear what's in it, and then I'll see if I can accept. The Jews are opposite. No questions asked. We trust you, Hashem, that you're not going to give us a burden that we can't handle. So what Naaseh we'll do, and then afterwards you teach us, we're here to accept. So the Naaseh is really an acceptance, really, basically, okay? That's the truth of the matter, that it's expressing the Jews' acceptance, but still doesn't fit in with the wording. The idea, again, that you want to say with the word Naaseh, we will do, that the Jews are saying, I'm accepting upon myself to do, even before hearing what you're going to tell me, I'm letting you know that I'm accepting to do. But Reb Noson is trying to say, so use a different word. If now you're trying to say that Naaseh is expressing, I'm committing myself to do what you're going to tell me, I'm committing myself, I'm letting you know that I'm willing to do it, no questions asked, so then use a different wording. What's with Naaseh? Use like Mikablim, Anachnu Mikablim, we receive upon ourselves, accept upon ourselves the yoke to do it before you tell us what to do. We're letting you know, Hashem, that we're ready and willing to do it. Okay, but use a different word. What's Naaseh? Naaseh means we will do. And it's making it sound like we will do, and then we will listen what we're going to be told to do. That's the pshat of the wording still. It's a problem. So Reb Noson again. Ha'emet she'atorah shibcha otam al zeh shemigodel teshukatam l'Hashem yitbarach hikdimu naaseh linishma. Kamavor b'dvar rabotenu zal, like we just said. Godel shevach Yisrael bazeh, the great praise, worthiness of the Jewish people that they said naaseh linishma. The Gemara says, for example, there on page 88a, that when the Jews said, we will do and we will listen, like this Parshat Mishpatim, verse 7 here, chapter 24. So a divine voice came out from before Hashem, and he said, Mi gila raz zeh lebanai, who revealed this secret to my children, the Jewish people? In other words, the secret that this is how the angels are. The angels work like that also. That they Giborei Korach oseh dvaro lishmoa bekol devora. Giborei Korach, warriors of strength, which is referring to the angels. Oseh dvaro, they do the will of Hashem, and afterwards lishmoa bekol, to hear the voice of His words. So here by the angels you have first also asiyah naaseh oseh dvaro, and then nishma. Lishmoa bekol, they will listen to the voice, what the commandment is to do. Right? And it's beautiful explanations from the Maharsha, that by the angels it's really one. They're not, as soon as the angel does, as he starts doing it, it's as if it's already done. So Naaseh v'nishma, just already here doing it, it's already the full mission accomplished, and it's hidden those words of Naaseh v'nishma. Okay? So that's just one praise, that that the Jews are like the angels, that they do before listening because they're fully committed. They're one with the commandment. It's like, oh, this is the burden, how we're going to do it. The Jews are not like that. You tell us to do this, Hashem, we're going to do it. We're one. We make ourselves attached with the command that we're commanded to do. We're one with the tefillin. We're one with the Sfeta Omer. We're one with Shabbat. We are one with this. We relate to it, and we're not a separate entity doing this. It says, right? Oraita, Kucha Bichu Yisrael Kol Achad. Hashem, the Torah, and Israel are one. What does that mean? Even though I'm a physical human being, but I'm a Jew. And the Jew is that I'm connected to the commandment. Me and the tefillin are inseparable. Me and Shabbat are inseparable, okay? Sfeta Omer inseparable. The Jews, unfortunately, choose to go away. That's a problem. That's their test. But in reality, the beauty of Torah is that it's connected to us. It's one. That's the Koach Meshicha, the drawing power of Judaism when it's open to a person. When the light is shining, it's one. We're together. We're one. Our makeup is one. A Gentile doesn't have that. A Gentile can see as like a person going to see a movie. I'm experiencing a movie, but I'm not one of the movie. I'm sitting back, eating the popcorn, enjoying the movie. Wow, nice. This, that, and then the movie finishes. I go back to my other self, who I really am. Okay, but Jewish people, we're one of the mitzvah. The tefillin every day, it becomes internalized. The Shabbat, the brachot, the mitzvot you're doing are one with you, okay? So that's the idea that we're connected like the angels. The Gemara also says, amazing, that the Jewish people are compared to an apple tree. It's funny because there's a controversy on the commentaries, but an apple doesn't have this. Where the Gemara says that just like an apple produces its fruits before its leaves, so to the Jewish people they do before listening. Like the naaseh is the actual fruit, the eating of the fruit, and the leaves are the nishma. And there's a lot of difficulty on that, but the idea is that there's a certain tree, it seems to be the etrog tree, that's not dependent on sunlight so much. It's more dependent on the strength of the energy of the tree and the roots, and the leaves come just to makeba patish, just to finish up the job. But the actual fruit is built on the energy from the tree itself, as opposed to coming out fully when the leaves are. The Ben Ish Chai, he tries to give a resolution. He says that the completion of the leaves is after the fruit is fully produced. They're not fully produced and made completely, the leaves, only after the actual fruit. And also it's a machloket still if it's on the apple, etrog, whatever. The point is, the Gemara says, like this type of fruit tree, the fruit comes before the leaves. So to the Jews, they do, because the main sweetness of Judaism is the doing. You can learn and learn intellectually, philosophically, and everything, blah, blah, blah. But you got to do. You got to do. That's the beauty of Judaism. That's the goal of Torah study, is the doing. Okay? On one hand, the Gemara says greater is Torah study than doing, because Torah study brings you to doing. But again, the point of Torah study is to bring you to doing. So we encourage people to study Torah because it'll enhance your doing. The goal is still to do. Okay? So it's like the apple tree or the etrog tree were the same thing. The fruit comes out before the completion of the leaves. So to Am Yisrael also, we do before we're being told. So Reb Noson is saying, what the Gemara is saying that the Jewish people are praised so much of saying first Naaseh and V'nishma. But what's going on here? What is this Naaseh first and then Nishma? So look what he says. Aval af al pi chen kasha davar meod. Nonetheless, it's still difficult to understand if you translate and explain literally Naaseh and then Nishma, and you can't find a way out. It's very clear. There's first Naaseh and then there's Nishma. Ech yetzuyar inyan zeh. Reb Noson asks, how could you intellectually, rationally picture this, that a person does before he's told what to do? Ve'ech ole aladat la'asot kodem shenishma. How could even a person think of this scenario to do before you're told what to do? So Reb Noson's answer is a unique answer. I haven't seen this by any of the commentaries. Reb Noson is the first one really to give this special answer. There could be other commentaries that bring it, but we find it here in Likutey Halakhot. Reb Noson says the answer is in the verse itself. Ach, be'emet, be'atorah gufa mevuar ha'inyan etev. However, in truth, in the verse in the Torah itself, it's clearly expressed and rationally understood. Ki mevuar ba'pasuk, she'tshuvatam hayta kach. Because in the verse that we just read, verse 7 of chapter 24, it says in the pasuk clearly that their answer was like this. What did they say, the Jewish people? They told Moshe, after he read the Sefer Habrit, the Book of the Covenant, it says, the Jewish people said, Kol asher diber Hashem na'aseh v'nishma. Whatever Hashem says, which means Hashem says diber to do, we will listen. We will do, and we will listen. So Reb Noson saying, Nimtza. If you look carefully at the wording in the verse, Shamru, that they said clearly, Shema sheyedaber Hashem ya'asu v'chule. They said clearly, Kol asher, whatever Hashem tells us to do, not like we thought. What Hashem is telling us or asking us, do we want to receive the Torah and this is the commandments? We will do it. It's not like that. Reb Noson is saying, Kol asher diber Hashem is telling us what to do. We will then do. Okay? Nimtza shebe'emet hem osin achar sheishmu divrei Hashem. So therefore, in reality, the answer is in the verse clearly that they're doing after they're told what to do. Shebe'emet, that in truth, hem osin achar sheishmu divrei Hashem. That they're actually going to do after hearing the words of Hashem. Come over, pasuk, like it says in the verse, Kol asher diber Hashem na'aseh v'nishma. Whatever Hashem tells us to do, we will do and we will listen. So the first question is, Ach lefi zeh kasher. We still have a question there. If now that's the normal way things work in life, work in society, work in the world, that you first are told what to do and then you do it. Imken ma ma'alatam shekdimu na'aseh v'nishma. Why is the Torah praising them so much? You're like the angels, you're like this apple tree. And when they said Na'aseh v'nishma, the Gemara says also there that 600,000 angels came, each one carrying 2 crowns. 1 crown for Na'aseh, 1 crown for Nishma. 2 crowns for each Jew for Na'aseh v'nishma, because they said Na'aseh v'nishma. When they sinned from the Chet HaEgel, so then double amount of angels, 1,200,000 angels came to take off. The Ben Ish Chai he explains beautifully, why do you need double angels here to take off? And when bringing down, 1 angel was enough to carry 2. So he says a few things. One nice thing he says is that when doing chesed, when a person does chesed, he has more energy to do. So the angels were so eager to bring the Jews happily the 2 crowns. But when they sinned, the golden calf, and it was din, and it was heartbreaking, even for the angels. So it was hard for them because of the din to take away the crown. So it became heavier for them, and they needed 2 angels. And also he says another thing, that when the Jews said Na'aseh v'nishma, so it was 1 mission, because an angel can only do 1 mission. So it's 1 mission. Na'aseh v'nishma was like 1 piece, 1 unit. We will do and we will listen together. So the angel who normally does 1 mission, can't do 2 missions, is able to bring down 2 crowns, which would have seemed as 2 missions, but no, here it's considered 1 because it was in unison. So then they're able to bring down both. But when the Jews sin in the action and their activity, transgressing the asiyah of the golden calf, so now there became a separation between Na'aseh and Nishma. Na'aseh was tainted because they made the golden calf. The Nishma was not tainted from the golden calf, like the Midrash says. There's a famous Midrash that says that the second crown of Nishma was never really lost. It's an amazing thing. Rabbi Nachman goes into it, Reb Noson goes into it. But the Nishma, the listening, was not tainted by the golden calf. Only the Na'aseh. So now there's separate units. You need 2 angels. 1 angel to retrieve the crown of Na'aseh, and 1 for Nishma. But going back to what we're trying to say here, Reb Noson's question, if now they're doing something which is normal, so why this praise of Na'aseh v'nishma? You're saying that they makdim Na'aseh v'nishma, but we just explained that the Na'aseh, the doing is already after Kol asher diber Hashem. Whatever Hashem spoke, we will do. So they're doing something normal. So the question is also, what is this Nishma? If now you have diber, whatever Hashem says to do, Na'aseh, we will do. So then what does the Nishma afterwards come to add? Good question. Reb Noson is going to ask this question also. Okay, so Achlefi ze kashe. Imken ma ma'alatam shekdimu Na'aseh le'nishma. What's so special about the Jewish people that they said first Na'aseh v'nishma? Halo kvar hikdimu lomar she'asu ma shedeber Hashem kan yizkar le'el. Reb Noson is asking a valid question. We see from the verse that they already said we will do whatever Hashem says to do. So the question's in place. What's so special about them? And also, what is this Nishma? The question will be answered, God willing, in the next class. Please, If you're enjoying these classes, share them with others. Have an amazing week. Shalom, shalom.